I just want to highlight kind of three key areas of more advanced feature sets of Wasp that I used after rebuilding my SaaS. So for those who aren't familiar with me already, or with my cat, who's decided to get involved, I've been building with Wasp for it must be nearly 18 months now. Started my product MicroInfluencer last year. It's an existing SaaS, so it had existing clients, people that paid real money, including Wasp. So thanks, guys. And originally, when I built it, I thought there's clearly a way that I can build a marketplace for niche creators and brands to find each other, to collaborate. The difficulty is that there's a thing called the cold start problem, and companies have found this over hundreds of years while trying to create marketplaces. It's much easier to create something one-sided, especially if you're a guy hacking away in his spare bedroom in the evenings and weekends. But I decided I was going to try and build a marketplace, and failed. Realized there was a lot more value if I created a analytics and research platform for people who want to find niche creators. So some of the background behind that as well is I'm actually a niche tech creator. I've got a few thousand followers on TikTok where I trade quick tips around different tech, a lot of Wasp stuff as well, actually. So if people want to check that out, feel free. So this whole rebuild and pivot represented a really good chance and opportunity for me to use some more advanced Wasp features, stuff that I hadn't thought to implement the first time around, because I'm just a little bit more confident now with the framework compared to the first time I built. So this pivot represented a much more data-driven approach to the platform in general, and I think Cron Jobs was extremely important when it came to maintaining data integrity and making sure it was accurate, because that's ultimately what you're selling on. So I think having it run quite a lot and knowing that I can reliably run it using the combination of Prisma queries and server actions, it's secure, and with proper logging, that it's going to that you'll know if something has gone wrong. You can have it go wrong gracefully and understand rapidly what's going on. So the new architecture I've created is that every minute we detect if a creator has not been updated in the last week, and if they have not been updated, then we ping a request up to my server, which then pulls back certain metrics from their social account. Then in a Wasp server action, we calculate what advanced metrics come from that. So stuff like the view to follow ratio, the mean views per video, a number of statistics that you wouldn't get from just glancing at someone's TikTok page. So it's the sort of thing that will save marketeers quite a lot of time. So it's been much easier for me to iterate on these, on this advanced bit of data just from having the cron jobs, but then also as well, when I started using Wasp, there wasn't such a thing as a separate schema file, and now there is, and that makes it much easier to have it all in one place and to quickly iterate and understand the different data types that are within my entities. So if I was to give someone who maybe has just joined this call because they're curious about Wasp a bit of advice, if you don't already know it, get really stuck into Postgres, because that's how you will get the most out of Wasp, and there's some really good courses and resources out there to do that. So as I mentioned, the last thing as well is around the good logging practice. This is kind of something I've learned to do myself a little bit, but because of the one-click deployment to Fly and now Railway, which is very exciting, the Fly has first-class support with Grafana logs, so I can just easily see exactly what's got wrong where, and it just makes it super easy in Wasp because it's just TypeScript, right? You can immediately kind of bubble up relevant errors, so you can quickly action everything. So something I wanted to show as well was just how quickly I was able to implement AI integration, and I thought I'd show it a bit visually here. So this is the main browse page of MicroInfluencer, and something I realized was my whole proposition here is to shave as much friction as possible.
I don't see the main page.
I think I'm just sharing a tab. Thank you, Vinny. One sec.
No worries.
Right.
Yes, now we can see it. Woo!
Nice. So this is the main browse page of MicroInfluencer, and as I said, I wanted to shave away as much friction as possible when it comes to finding relevant creators. So, what better way to do that if you're an overworked marketing manager for a D2C startup? You might decide, okay, I'm just going to describe it in natural language like I'm speaking to an assistant. So using the AI integrations that OpenSaaS has out of the box, this literally took me an evening to hack together. All you do is, let's say this DevOps platform, wants to find influencers to work with. You submit in natural language. It then retrieves niches that it thinks could be relevant, and then a list of potential good micro-influencers to work with. And then once you click into all of those people, that's when you're going to be able to see the advanced statistics around them, the underlying Moneyball statistics that actually tell you the true value of working with that person, who's underrated, who would be a good investment to collaborate with. So that was super easy because Wasp has, there's kind of two angles to using LLMs, right? The first and foremost important one is security, because it's kind of running in these actions. You're not leaking stuff because it's running on server side. And then as well, I'm really a big believer in automation rather than replacement of a process when it comes to AI. And the difference there is quite subtle. But to give you an example, it's when I'm finding new creators to list on the platform, I run through certain checks with AI first to make sure if they're sensible. So if they're creating appropriate content or stuff, so I feed it a JSON blob around if that person seems like the sort of candidate we want to list as a niche creator. So as I said, my theory is that it's around automation, not replacement, and the difference there is quite subtle. All it's doing is speeding up the process, reducing the decision fatigue, and allowing you to focus on the commercial value add. So as I said, the AI integration is super easy because it comes out of the box with Open SaaS. MicroInfluencer itself is built off the back of Open SaaS, and I highly suggest it's the best way to get started with Wasp. And I think the best way to learn Wasp, because you just see how the best practice around using the framework itself. So I'd highly recommend it. And then finally as well, it's just something that I've been pretty aware of, because we've had quite a lot of high profile cyber attacks here in the UK this summer. And it's been something that we've all been quite aware of. And the Wasp architecture itself is something I've really kind of learned as I've read more about cybersecurity in general, is by its nature, Wasp kind of promotes this zero trust philosophy around you're filtering in people that are allowed to access stuff, explicitly. So for example, here we have a job here, a screenshot. This is live from MicroInfluencer around updating the underlying YouTube stats. The only two entities, so the only two Postgres tables that can be affected by it are the ones that we specify. That we specify here. So there's no chance of it kind of jumping to a different specified table. And because this isn't done via an API, it's done via a job, there's no way this can be called externally as well. So just the way Wasp is designed, it comes with that security in mind. And because this is a commercially driven framework, obviously a breach isn't great for commercial commercial operations. So you're reducing that. And then also as well, because it's so perfect for indie hackers, because it's a major worry that's kind of handled for you by design. Obviously I'm not saying like expose your API keys in the front end or anything like that. It doesn't automatically protect you from everything, but it makes it much easier by design to have it nice and secure. And yeah, I'm the same thing. I have forgotten to add model to entities, but the error messaging is quite good in that respect as well, I find. So yeah, it's quite nice, and I find the Wasp compiler is always improving with that. But I want to keep it fairly short and sweet. So you can follow me on TikTok, X, LinkedIn. All my links are on my personal website, which is, I'm afraid to say on this call, it is built with Next.js. Apologies. And you can check out MicroInfluencer as well at microinfluencer.com. I'm now running a free tier on MicroInfluencer. So if you want to try and one AI search yourself, feel free to do so. Any feedback would be really useful, because the whole rebuild is very, very new. And a slightly exciting update is it looks like I've signed on a commercial co-founder who's going to look after the sales and marketing side of things for me, because I'm about to get much busier, because I accepted an extremely exciting job offer in the last few days, which I don't think I can talk about publicly yet, but I'll tell everyone soon, because there's some exciting stuff that I can do in combination with Wasp and that new company. So, but he did drop a hint earlier, if anyone picked up on it. But yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. If anyone's got any questions, just give me a shout.
Wow, awesome! This was amazing, Kim. I think you did the whole thing on Wasp. I want to use it even more now after hearing you all the cool stuff you did with it. So yeah, opening it up to the audience. What is it? Maybe we can start with your favorite feature of Wasp, like the others.
Sorry, I missed that a little bit.
Yeah, so I would say also, what was your single favorite feature from Wasp if you had to pick something?
I think it is just the frictionless cron jobs. Just how quickly you can get something up and running that is genuinely so commercially useful. I think if I was using another framework, I would have to get some kind of third-party provider involved a lot of the time when it comes to cron jobs. And just the way that I've been able to automate the process of. So what I found out was the real pain was getting creators indexed on the platform, because you can either have millions of unverified, you don't know anything about their content, or you can have a few really, really good creators, but you've manually verified yourself. But the advantage of Wasp is you can have this automated AI process running to detect potential creators so quickly and log out tons of information for me and bubble up tons of information to my admin dashboard that can make me have an informed decision. Then it allows me to I think I'm on track for the current pace of indexing creators. I'm on track to index around 30,000 quality creators by Q1 next year. So there's going to be a genuinely extremely useful best of both worlds proposition there, all based off the fact that Wasp can just automate tasks like that, and there's no kind of quotas around the maximum number of cron jobs you can have, and you just define it as it's literally like writing plain English. Stuff in Wasp just blows my mind, and yeah, it's so much fun to write with. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir a little bit here, but if you've just joined, then yeah, give it a go.
Cool. Yeah, I'm sold on Wasp.
Nice stuff. Yeah, I have nothing more to. Yeah, I want to use Wasp even more. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I think if no more kind of questions from the audience, just the last one, from me, kind of, which is more on the commercial side. I know that is the tough part for most of the builders out there. So how did you go about finding your first customers, users? What was the best channel, and what made you not give up?
So you won't believe this, but I actually found one of the best lead generation techniques was to use a Wasp Cron Job. I'm not joking. So this is what I started doing. I started using a proxy to scrape TikTok for I'm running this on a Wasp job, searching for brand collaborations and searching for videos where creators had a hashtag of ad, and then I would be able to retrieve the company name from that, and then I added it into a Postgres table on my Wasp app, and then I have a screen in the admin dashboard where it's like potential leads for companies, and right now I've got like 50 a day bubbling up. So I reached out to a load of those, and even me as like a not that good salesman, I was able to convert a few people from there. But the new guy who is signing on with me is he is like a SaaS sales guy as his day job, and he's been doing it for a few years. So I'm pretty excited. I've got this database of like 500 scraped companies that are actively doing D2C marketing via TikTok on there. So yeah, you wouldn't believe it. Like you can even hack B2B sales of Wasp. I should really do a LinkedIn post on that. Here's what Wasp taught me about B2B sales.
But that's actually a really cool thing that I never thought of before, is because OpenSaaS has the dashboard built in, and you already have all these components, and you have jobs, Wasp jobs running to update the dashboard, that you can use your SaaS to fill in a job that's doing doing some side tasks like that you only have access as the admin user. And yeah, that's a really cool idea. So I like.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as well, probably the most overlooked aspect of the open SaaS boilerplate is the admin dashboard section, and it's super powerful what you can do with it. And like if you even just extend on it a little bit, like it can just make the process of running a SaaS so much easier, because a lot of us in here are indie hackers, and we all live busy lives, and we're just hacking away half an hour at a time. And like if you can make your life easier through stuff like the admin dashboard, then yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Very cool. Thank you, Cam.
Awesome, Cam. Thanks so much for sharing. It's inspiring to see builders like you who make kind of push Wasp to its limits. So we are super grateful to have you in the community. Yeah. Any more questions? Feel free to ask. Feel free to ask Cam in the chat.